Hey there, welcome back to my channel. Valentine's Day is coming up, of course, so I thought it'd be fun to do some pink, glittery, shimmery, high impact, fun eyeshadow look. So that's what we're doing, and let's just get right into it. We're starting off with the Pat McGrath Divine Rose palette, and we're gonna start with this like medium pinkish sort of shade down here at the bottom, and we're going to use that for a wash of color. As you know, I've been into the wash of color thing lately. I don't know why it is. It just is. And so I'm basically just lightly tapping this all over my lid, and then I'm going to just sweep it through all the way to the brow bone. And I'm using a really big fluffy brush if you didn't notice. Now with a really densely packed eyeshadow brush, we're going to go in with this very, very light pink shade from the Celestial Divinity Pat McGrath palette. And we're going to use that as an all over the lid shade. As usual, I like to go just above my natural crease. So once I have the placement where I want it, I'm just going to go ahead and pack the color on. Not using sweeping motions, I'm just tapping the color in. I mean, you can't do too much pink for Valentine's Day. I think there is definitely a such thing as too much pink. I just don't think that that concept applies to Valentine's Day. We're going to start to deepen the crease area, so I'm going to go in with the Vanessa palette and this pink shade down here. This one is of course by Juvia's Place, and I mean, you know I had to do something with the Vanessa palette. I couldn't leave it out. And we're just going to take this through the crease. So right where that pink shade is ending and where you can kind of see where we did that wash of color to start off, we're just going to buff this in with this little guy. And this is just starting to add some dimension into that crease area. And I'm also going to apply some of this in the outer corner. So I'm just going to tap it in the outer corner and about like a quarter of the way into the lid. Clean off my brush, and I'm just going to blend this upwards towards the brow bone. So I'm really just buffing this color out so that it's nice and seamless and we don't have any harsh lines, because we don't want that. Especially, you know, if you're hanging out with Bae, you don't want Bae to be like, girl, what's going on with your eyeshadow? No, we don't want that. So we're just going to buff it out so we don't have that problem. And using a larger fluffy brush, we're going to go ahead and apply this to the lower lash line as well. This is sort of like a smoked out lower lash line, so I'm being a little generous with it. And of course you want to make sure that they're connecting in this outer edge area. We're going to go in with this darker sort of wine shade from the Celestial Divinity palette. We're going back to that palette, and I'm using a little small eyeshadow brush, and I'm just going to tap that onto the very outer like V kind of area here, just to add some more dimension. We want a really dimensional, you know, sassy Valentine's Day eye. And then we're going to go in with that same color but with a more pointed fluffy eyeshadow brush and use that color to deepen the crease. So I'm just going to sweep it through that crease area. And if you guys are like, what am I going to do for Valentine's Day? Everything's closed, you know, you may not feel safe going out. I got you. I have 5 really, really fun Valentine's Day at home ideas on the blog. So I will put a link to the post below in the description, but like, you don't have to go anywhere to have a great time. So I thought it'd be fun to share those ideas with all of you. We're going back to the Divine Rose palette, and we're going to pick up this pink for our first blast of sparkle. And I like using this with a damp brush, so I'm just going to get some of it on my brush and then hit it with a little bit of water. And we're basically going to create a cut crease shape minus, you know, messing around with all the concealer, because I just don't really like to do it that way, so I don't. But you can, of course, do a cut crease that way, but I just prefer to do it this way. So yeah, that's how we're gonna do it. And just start to pack this on to the lid. I think this is a really, really nice pink because it's like a purpley pink. And you may need to add more water to your brush as you work on it. I think it's better to add little by little than to have too much. So if you don't find that you're getting the color payoff that you would like, then just go back in and add a little bit more water until you're satisfied. And then once we get out to the outer edge, I'm just going to give it a couple little sweeps just to sort of like blend it out, because I don't want it to be like as defined. I want it to sort of fade out. And then now I'm just going to go over and do a couple sweeps anywhere where I feel like I need a bit more pigment. We're going back to the Celestial Divinity palette, and we're going to use this really gorgeous pink shade here with a little itty bitty detail brush, and we're going to do the same thing, get some of the color on the brush and then hit it with a little bit of water. And we're going to work this into the inner corner. And this is going to give like a really, really high impact, gorgeous little highlight in that very inner corner area. And then we're also just going to bring it up a little bit. And we're just going to sort of follow that cut crease shape and blend it out that way. I always feel like the eye I do with you all looks better. So there is that, but I don't know why they never just look the same to me. Using a little itty bitty shadow brush, we're going to use that dark sort of like berry color again and just darken the lower lash line. And with a big fluffy eyeshadow brush, we're going back to the Vanessa palette and using this tan as a little brow bone highlight. So I'm just buffing a tiny bit into the brow bone. I'm going to buff it out and just use this brush to break up any harsh lines that may be there. So I'm also just going to take it around this area out here just to make sure that everything is nice and blended. Using our concealer brush, we're just going to clean up this edge. So I do want it to be more of like a winged sort of shape. So I'm just going to use this brush to create that. To finish things off, we're going to go back in with that pink shade from the Vanessa palette and this little guy again, and just add a tiny bit more color to the outer corner where we may have lost some. Just blend it into the shimmer. For eyeliner, we're using the Alyssa Edwards Anastasia palette, and we're using the shade Beast, which is a really nice deep dark black shade. And we're just going to create a wing shape with our liner. And then to further darken the liner, we're going to go in with an eyeliner pen. And we're basically just going to go back over that line. I like to do an eyeshadow first just to make sure that I like the placement before we really get like too far gone. And also when I use a shimmer eyeshadow, I think that a black eyeshadow to start is a nice base so that all that shimmer isn't sticking into the liquid liner. And we're also going to use our concealer brush to clean up that line. I am going to use lighter pressure because I don't want to take too much of the eyeshadow away. I think this wing needs a little more love because this one I feel like is kind of more full. We're not going to go down that rabbit hole, but I am going to add a little more. We're going to finish things off with some mascara and lashes. As always, I like to do a light layer on my top and bottom lashes since I am going to apply false lashes. And I'm going in with the Kiss Triple Push-Up Lash in Teddy, which I feel like is kind of appropriate for Valentine's Day. So that's going to bring it all together. So this is the final look. I kind of kept things monochromatic with a pink lip. So I really hope you enjoyed this Valentine's Day makeup tutorial. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe. I have a new video every single Tuesday and Friday, and hit that notification bell so you can be one of the very first to know when there is a new video, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye.